Hi, my name is Mark Sipthorpe, and I'm with Bank News TV. Last week, I was at a conference on AI and big data, and the purpose of this video today is to share some of the insights I gained from that event. The event attracted many big players like TD, Sun Life, Manulife, Scotiabank, and also players like Xe.com. My intention is to give you guys some insights into the issues facing banks and insurance companies related to AI and big data. And I thought that the most appropriate thing to do was to focus on what Xe.com is doing in that space. I found that their insights from their presentation were invaluable, and the rest of this video, which is about 5 minutes long, should cover some of the highlights of their presentation. I hope it gives you some good insights into your strategies.
We got recent stats. Last year we had 285 million people that used our site and our apps. If Xe was a country, it would be the 4th largest country in the world. So when you're talking about the data that produces, that is big data. The thing about the data program that we have is that, like with all of us in this room, it's been a really interesting educational journey since we started. And the mantra that we have is essentially that without knowledge, action is useless, and knowledge without action is futile. So one of the key things around digital business, and we've been around for 25 years, one of the first digital businesses that ever became a business, was that while we did a lot of things on the internet in the early years and we produced a lot of data, we didn't actually do a lot with the data. We stored it, we saw it, and we got some basic insights. Page views was the key metric that everybody used, but essentially there wasn't a ton that we were doing actively with data. Having these ingredients, it becomes really difficult to create real-time engaging experiences for our customers, and this is something that for us is relatively new in the last 5 years, and it's really changed the way we engage with our customers. The key about data is that it can transform your business strategy.
Conversion just by using real-time events. And that's where I think the power is. And so I'm not up here prescribing that we have to change the way that we do data science, because that's not the point of this discussion. The point is that we have to look beyond our traditional ways of looking at data, sitting within relational databases, and say, what else can we use in terms of data? I think the answer is real-time data that people are creating on an ongoing basis. I mean, we're creating data right now. Based on the fact that we're looking at our phones and we're doing all sorts of things at the same time. So the realization I made is that while relational databases are great and they're very efficient, however, they're very static. And quite often, when you think back to the early days of building models, and some of us in this room remember this, it was a big deal to score a model. It took a lot of processing power, and if you were rescoring a model every quarter, you were doing a pretty good job. So if you knew what your customers were doing from one quarter to the next, you were saying you were doing a great job if you were to rescore it and actually understand what customers were doing. The reality, though, and this is the confession, is that I really didn't know very much about what customers were doing. Because the one thing that happens throughout our day, every day, is that customers are doing things based on the time of day, based on the device that they're using, based on a lot of other factors that we never could capture in a relational database, and we certainly never captured in a predictive model. So, thinking about everything that Cecelia was talking about, is that when you think of it, what a customer is made up of events. And if we think of all of those dots going across your screen as events, those are events throughout a day. And if we think of one of those events, in particular, this is throughout the run of the day, depending on the time. Maybe we're checking our mobile, maybe we're looking at our phone, maybe we're on our iPad, maybe we're looking at our Apple Watch, maybe we're looking at a lot of different things. We're interacting with things on an everyday basis. Maybe we're looking up a currency exchange rate on Xe.com. All of those things are very important things to do, and they're very much what you're thinking of in that moment. Everything is very time-based when it comes to a customer. So for me to sit here and say that I know what you're going to do because I scored a model 2 months ago doesn't mean very much. So the world is changing, and data is slowly starting to catch up. And that's the exciting part. And the exciting part for me as a statistician is that now we're starting to not only just look at events, but we're starting to actually look at the customer journey. And the customer journey is very exciting because a customer journey is made up of customer events. Think about the last time you bought a car. Last time the model, and score a model based on a data set would take incredible amounts of time, weeks, sometimes days, hours, all sorts of things. Now with being able to do things in the cloud, Amazon has a lot of great tools, a lot of other great tools exist within the cloud as well, to do multiple iterations of a model in very short periods of time. Using distributed processing and parallel processing, you're able to do all sorts of wonderful things. So suddenly time is no longer a boundary, whereas it once was. And so being able to rescore models, instantaneously has become, incredible. A great case study that I was recently using was a model was being rescored using 4,000 variables. And this was a fraud detection model. 4,000 variables. It was able to give a decision in 12 milliseconds and using 4,000 variables. Now, I know I'm a geek, and I'll be the first to admit that, but that's pretty cool when you think about that many variables in that short amount of time.
I hope you found the insights gained from xe.com's experience with AI and big data to be insightful, and I look forward to sharing more related videos on this subject in the future.